Today we are going to make bread. Have you ever made bread? Okay. The recipe from this bread, we get it from this, I think it is in the website, the cooking school recipes, and it is on page 18 on that one. And bread is, so many people, they like bread, and you know, you can eat it with so many things. So the ingredients that we know or that we need in a small bowl, that you will need one teaspoon of honey, half a cup of warm water, not hot, and we need 1 tablespoon of instant dry baking yeast. And I have mixed them here already, and you can see that it's foaming, it's rising, which means it's going to be good bread. And then in another medium to large bowl, but I have used this container, this jar, you need 1.5 cup of warm coconut milk. We use this coconut milk. It's very, very good. And the coconut milk, it's just like even coconut oil is one of those good fats that it's absorbed directly into the bloodstreams. And then we need 2 tablespoons of liquid lecithin, and this is it. Lecithin helps, it makes the bread light. And then 2 tablespoons of honey, and a quarter of teaspoon of salt, and you mix it together. I have mixed it here all together. And then in a small bowl, you will take the, you see, when you wait until it's foamy. While you are mixing all these, you will see that it will be raising and becoming foamy. And you mix it here. In another bowl. Okay. And then you mix all your liquid ingredients. Very, very, very nice. And then now you will need 3 3/4 cups of wheat flour. I use whole wheat flour, and I mix it slowly and slowly there with this. You know, I grew up eating bread and baking bread and making all sorts of things, dumplings and fat cooks, and bread is very good. And when we eat bread, we should remember the bread of life, that is Jesus. You know, and even when Jesus was on earth, he fed his disciples fish and bread. And even the 4,000, he fed them, the little boy who had fish and bread. Bread is very important in our lives. Okay, and then you mix it and mix it slowly. If you notice that I have extra flour here, this one, I'm gonna use it when I'm kneading it, and when I'm gonna roll it, I'm gonna roll it so good. You can use your pin, and later on you're gonna see me, I will be using my hands, because I like to feel it. I did wash my hands, and there we go. Okay. And there we go. You see, it's a little bit, you know, hard. And then you can add more coconut milk as you go on. I'm gonna add it later on. Okay, it's getting there. You knead it and knead it and knead it until your hand is so clean. That's what my grandmother used to tell me. Said, when your hand is clean, you know that it's done. but I'll show you another way how you know that it is done when it's not sticking. Sorry, this bowl of mine. Okay. Just add a little bit. And you have to be careful with your milk. Let it not be, you need it room temperature, not hot. Let it be a little bit towards the warm side, not the cold side. You don't want it like that. You see, oh, it's getting there. Mix it all. You make that the dough so good. Very, very good. Very good. And then you're gonna start now adding your flour, your extra flour there. Start adding your extra flour, and it's so nice to make your own bread because it's just simple ingredients. You know, sometimes the bread that we buy at the store, it has all those unnecessary like vinegar and some other things that I don't know, big words that you cannot even pronounce. And one of the doctors said yesterday, if it's something that you cannot pronounce, don't eat it, you know. It's so, okay, it's getting there. Okay, there we go. It's getting there. And then I did clean this surface before. I did clean this surface before doing all this. So if you have a good surface like this one, you can just put a little bit, and then that's when you're gonna really need it. You need it very good. And we are not wasting anything. We want everything in there. You need it. You need it. And you will see it's gonna be so smooth. When it's not sticking anymore, then you know that it's so good. Okay. So good. You need it, and you will make bread. And because we use yeast, and yeast is active, you don't eat after baking. I know it's so tempting, you want to eat it immediately. You know, it smells so good. You don't eat it immediately, you bake it, and you can leave it outside for 48 hours because until the yeast dies, and then that's when it's ready to eat. Or you can freeze it, you know, keep on making bread and freeze it. Okay. And this recipe, you can use it also when you want to make buns. Okay. See? Need it? Oh yeah. You see my hands are getting clean. Okay, we're almost there. You see, it does not take that long. You can make a mini loaves out of this and put it, if you have a small family, and put it in the fridge. After 48 hours, put it in the freezer, and you will enjoy your own bread. You see? And then now we are going to roll it. I have this pan, I have oiled it with coconut oil, and you can also use the parchment paper if you don't want to use coconut oil, so that it won't stick. Okay. Okay. And that's it. Okay, now. Okay, now it still has. You see, all your stress will be gone when you are kneading this. And you'll have some muscles. You cannot say you have not been exercising. Okay. Okay. And there you go. And then you put it in your pan and let it rise, and it can double into size. It will rise. It takes some time. You just cover it and put it out there, and it will rise. And it will look like this. Oh yeah. If you can see, this is the finished product, and you have your bread. This one it will be eaten maybe tomorrow. It's not ready today. I will still leave it out there, and then it will be ready, and that is it. And now we are going to see how to make gluten-free crackers. Any of you are gluten-free? If you are gluten-free, you make gluten-free crackers. They are so delicious. I have made them, and I have tried them, and I have eaten them. They are so good. Okay, and that is it. Any questions?
Well, for the rising, you can keep it in a warm area, like on top of your stove. If you've preheated your oven should be preheated at 350. And so if you leave that bowl with the yeast and the honey and the water mixture, just leave it next to your oven in that warm area. You can go ahead and leave it there for maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes. But you don't want to leave it too much. So as long as you see it grow and it's all foamy, it's ready to be used. Because if you leave it too long, then it tends to die, and it's not going to rise as much in your bread.
The bread to rise.
The bread to rise, you can wait, let's say, about 30 minutes, then you should be able to see it rise. And also when you're buying your yeast, you want to make sure that once you open that package, if you purchased a large package, you want to store that in the fridge, because you want to make sure that yeast stays alive and it doesn't die on you. If you don't do that and you use the yeast, you'll notice that it's not going to rise much, and it's not going to get all foamy like you want it to. Okay? So the bread, you bake it in the oven for 350 for 50 minutes or up to an hour until it's done. Just make sure you're watching it. You want to watch it get brown, like golden brown, and you can use a toothpick to poke through it. And if it's dry, just like when you're baking muffins and anything else like that, when it's dry and stuff like that, then you know it's ready. And you want to watch it because you don't want the bottom of it to get black or really hard. It all depends on what kind of baking pan you use as well. There's ceramic, there's the metal type, right? Or they also have glass. So if you have glass, it would be better because you can see through it. You can see how it's cooking. So I hope that answers the question for you. Okay. So hi, my name is Valerie, and I am a lifestyle counselor here at Uchee Pines. And at this moment, we're going to share with you how to make gluten-free crackers. And these are delicious and nutritious. And the first thing I want to tell you is, maybe last year or maybe 2 years ago, I was having some issues, gastrointestinal issues, and I thought maybe it was gluten that I was having a sensitivity to. And I said, well, let me try, making something gluten-free. And so I went on a gluten-free diet for maybe a month or two, and I noticed that it wasn't the gluten that was causing the problem. It was something else. But that period of time kind of led to being able to come up with this recipe that we're going to share with you today. This is the gluten-free crackers, and it's delicious, nutritious, and you're going to love it. And I will give you some more information on what is gluten, right? Because we need to know why so many people out there are beginning to be gluten-free, okay? And so gluten, let me bring my ingredients over here. Gluten is a protein, and it's found in wheat, rye, and barley. And there are many reasons why people will be gluten-free, but I'm going to share 3 of them with you today. Let me just get the rest of our tools so we can get started. And where is my other container? We're going to go ahead and use this one right here. Okay. So So let me tell you 3 reasons why some individuals are gluten-free. The very first reason, one of the main reasons why people are gluten-free, is because they might have celiac disease. And celiac disease is an autoimmune disease that attacks your small intestine. Okay, and with that, it causes inflammation. It causes you to have problems with absorption of the nutrients in the food that you're consuming. And so eventually you can have calcium deficiency, which will cause what? Osteosporosis. It can cause iron deficiency, which means you'll end up with iron deficiency anemia. There's other things that it can also cause with long periods of time. If the Crohn's disease is not taken care of, if you're not managing that, you can also have nerve damage. You can have issues with infertility. You can have even seizures. So Crohn's disease, it's a serious matter. For those people who have that, it can be life-threatening. So those people have to avoid gluten at all costs. Okay? They can't have gluten in their food and any of the products that they're using. Now, the second reason why someone might choose to be gluten-free is because they have gluten sensitivity. It's a non-celiac disease, gluten sensitivity. So this is not an autoimmune disease, okay? This simply means that their body has difficulty or has problems with metabolizing gluten protein. Okay, so they need to avoid gluten products. Why? Because it will cause gastrointestinal distress, meaning bloating, constipation, gas. There's so many other different symptoms that they can feel, like irritable bowel syndrome symptoms. Okay, so if the person that has gluten sensitivity wants to avoid those types of symptoms, they need to not eat gluten products. Now, once in a while, they might say, well, I'll just go ahead and take the bloating for 1 slice of pizza, right? And they can do that, and they'll just have issues later on, but it's not like the autoimmune diseases where it can be life-threatening. It's just distressing. At this point, this is all the information that we have, that I know of, when it comes to gluten sensitivity. Now, let's get into the recipe, but let me tell you the third reason. The third reason why someone's going to want to be, or someone chooses to be gluten-free, is because it is a fad. So you know how it is. These diets come in, everyone wants to be keto-free, you know, in the keto diet, everyone wants to be in the Weight Watchers diet, whatever it is. And so now gluten-free is out there, and there's a lot of gluten-free products out there, and everyone wants to be gluten-free, and they're all saying, okay, this is the healthiest way you can eat. But the fact is that from what I am informed of so far, if you don't have problems with gluten, if you don't have that sensitivity, then eat your normal diet, okay? Don't make gluten your main source of nutrition. Don't make that every part of your meal, just like the gluten meat, like that veggie meat, right? Don't do that, but you can still consume that. It's not a problem for you. So these are some of the reasons. Now let's go ahead and get into the recipe, right? We have here for today, this recipe is in page 18. It's very simple. All you gotta do is put your dry ingredients into the bowl, add a cup of coconut milk, and mix, mold it, place it on the baking sheet, and you're ready to go. I'll give you the rest of the information in just a little bit, okay? So the first thing you need is 1 cup of almond meal, okay? If you don't have almond meal, which is simply almond grinded up, go ahead and put it in your blender, whether it's a Vitamix, a Bullet, whatever it is that you have, a dry blender, and go ahead and take 1 cup of the raw almonds or slivered almonds, however you want, whatever you have, and go ahead and blend that up, and that should give you the 1 cup of almond milk. Then you also need 1 cup of rice flour, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of rice flour. Then you're gonna wanna add 1/4 of a cup of tapioca flour. This is gonna be like the binding of the flour, okay? And we have as well 1 teaspoon of salt, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and use this side here. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Now these seasonings, they're to your taste. Okay, if you're not a garlic fan, if you're not an onion fan, go ahead and omit those and add the seasonings that you like. Okay, then we also have rosemary. Some people dislike rosemary with a passion. Okay, so if that is you, then you want to go ahead and eliminate or replace the rosemary with oregano or with Italian seasoning or basil, whatever it is that you like. Okay, so because it's rosemary, I don't like the big chunks. Well, not the big chunks, the long straws. So what I like to do is I like to crush it. Okay, so you can crush it with your hands. You can crush it with the end of a spoon. That might take forever. You can probably throw it in a blender as well. Okay. And so I'm just crushing it with my hands, and I'm going to go ahead and add it there in just a little bit. And one more thing that you're going to need is you're going to need 2 teaspoons of sesame seed. Okay. And that's just going to be a garnish on top of your crackers. Okay. So I think that's good enough, right? There may be some long pieces there, but we don't have all day for me to get each one of them, right? But we're gonna go ahead and pour that in there. So now we have all of our dry ingredients there. All of them except the sesame seeds, okay? So we will go ahead and place these items aside. We don't need this. And now we need 1 cup of coconut milk, okay? There we go. Coconut milk again. This is just going to help to add nutrition and flavor. And I hope you love coconut milk. I love coconut milk. But yeah, this cracker is a savory cracker. You can also make it a sweet cracker as well if you like. Okay? You can make it a sweet cracker. You can add maple syrup, cardamom, any other anise, any other ingredient that you might like, maybe honey, so you can have your sweet crackers as well. So here we go, we have all the flour in there, and the milk, and we're just gonna go ahead and mix that up very well, okay? Okay, we're mixing it. And so you're gonna see that it doesn't have any yeast or anything like that, so you're not gonna have to let this rise or anything. You just mix it up, okay, mix it well. And I feel like it might need a little bit more coconut milk, but we'll keep mixing here. It smells so good. It's the garlic and the rosemary in there and the onion powder. So then you have these crackers, you can eat them and have them with soup, your chicken noodle, right? No chick noodle soup. You want the noodle, right? Yeah, no chick noodle soup. Yeah, we'll call it that. But there it is. Oh my goodness. It's almost like you want to eat it raw, but you can't. I mean, you can if you want, but okay. So once you have it like that, you can go ahead and place it on your baking sheet. And let me go ahead and, because it's so moist, I don't want to touch it with my hands. I mean, you can, but I rather not. If it was just for me, then I would go ahead and do that. But this is going to be for others. So let me go ahead and put on my gloves and lay it on the sheet. Also going to need parchment paper. You can also oil the pan, but I prefer to use this method right now. No. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and place this over here. Okay, you could just go ahead and place it on your sheet. And so you're gonna cook this in the oven. You're gonna bake it for 15 to 20 minutes, okay? 15 to 20 minutes, and it's going to be at 375. You want it to be golden brown, a little crispy, and you'll be able to tell how hard you want it. If you want it to be super crunchy, or if you want it to be a little bit soft, you can have it that way as well. You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and just oil the pan because it's gonna be easier to spread. Okay. I think my pan might be a little bit too big, but I'm gonna see what we have here. You can go ahead and just place it there. And you want to try and get it at an even all the way around so that it will bake evenly, okay? You can make it as thin as you like. You can use your hands or you can use the rolling pin. Right now, just gonna keep flattening it like that, and we can go ahead. And as you can see, it's very moist and it's kind of looks a little bit greasy. I don't know if you can see that, but it's because of the coconut milk. That fat helps, that natural fat, that natural grease. So you can continue to roll it, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna continue to do it with my hands because I don't want to add any more flour, and I don't have any more flour to add on there, but we don't need it. This is good. Okay, so we're just going to continue to fit the mold. Right. And I think this is good right here. We're just going to make it, we won't fill the whole sheet. Okay, so there we have it. Now we can go ahead and grab our sesame seeds. And we can go ahead and sprinkle. You don't have to use all 2 teaspoons. It's just to garnish. If you like sesame seed a whole lot, then you can use all of it. You can add more, whatever you would like to do. Okay, so it smells so good. It's not even baked. Okay. And there you have it. There you have it. It's very simple. So again, 375 in the oven, and you also need to just leave it there for 15 to 20 minutes. golden crispy brown, right? It doesn't have to be too brown. If you want it crunchy, go ahead and leave it a little bit longer. You'll see how much time. And also it depends on your oven. The same thing for the bread. It depends on your oven, the strength of your oven, whether or not the time is going to be more or less. Okay? So I hope this is a blessing. Remember this, when you are making your bread, when you are making your crackers, whatever it is that you are making, whatever it is that you're making, they say there is religion in a loaf of bread. And this brings me to Matthew 4:4. The Lord said, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." So as we eat our physical bread, let us not forget to also eat the bread of life that Sister Faisy was mentioning before. Why? Because that bread of life is going to give us the things that our body needs, the things that our body craves, the things that we need to be able to live. The Lord has provided that through His Word, and He desires for us to be whole, spiritually, physically, mentally, completely whole. And that's why He's giving us so much. And so we desire that you will be blessed with these recipes that we're sharing today. Sister Faisy, if you want to come and...
Just tell them that the bread is rising already.
The bread is already rising. You can see that here. The bread is already rising. And so just maybe another 5 minutes and we'll go ahead and place that into the oven, and we'll probably put the crackers along with that, and we'll be able to finish what we started. And we pray that the Lord will be with you, and that you will be able to take these simple recipes, practice them at home, take your time with them, enjoy them, and then when you enjoy them, go ahead and share them with your friends, and be blessed. We can pray. Dear Father, I thank you for the simple things that you teach us. Father, I thank you for the people that you place in our lives that are willing to teach us, Father, that are willing to share the wisdom that you've given them, Father. I pray, Lord, that as we each continue to grow and each continue to learn, that we will share what we receive, Father, that we will have that desire, Father, that everything that we do will be a blessing to someone else, Father, and that we will see your hand work in us and through us, Father, and that it will help others to be healed and heal us in the process as well. We thank you for all these things, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.